My name is Kenny Wilson. My topic is religion in the public school. Now, before I get started, I would like to define two terms that will be used heavily. First, we have the word practice. This means to carry out or perform a particular activity, method, or custom habitually or regularly. Next, we have the word teach. This means to give lessons about a particular subject to a person or group. I would like you to focus on these two terms throughout the next few paragraphs. Now, in the U.S., it is still common that creationism is taught in the public schools, especially in the South. What we fail to see is an unbiased look at religion from a historical standpoint. Religion needs to be taught in schools because of its historical and cultural impact. An unbiased lesson would lower unfair generalizations. And finally, the fact that it is unconstitutional to practice religion in schools. The effect that religion has had on history and culture should be taught. As said by user H.G. Keller on debate.org, there is a long history of Christianity. 2,000 years that has changed the course of history. Unbiased instruction on all religions should be discussed. Students need to learn the positives and the negatives that religion has caused in history. In addition, religion has helped shape many cultures. In conclusion, religion has an undeniable importance in our society that cannot be forgotten. Unbiased education on religion would assist in lowering the generalizations the children taught about world religions would make. But first, what is generalizations? Overgeneralization is the use of small and or non-representative samples of real data to make an inference that is incorrect. It is considered a cognitive bias, a logical fallacy, and a misuse of statistics. To simplify, one of the worst generalizations we see today is that all Muslims are terrorists, when in fact, the vast majority are not. If we are able to educate all children in religion, we could hopefully stop things like this from happening. Now, as stated previously, our goal should be the unbiased teaching of students. Following is the reason why we should avoid the practice of religion in schools. As you will see, my argument is that the practicing of religion in schools is unconstitutional. The most likely response to this you would see is that it is in fact not unconstitutional, and religion needs to be practiced and able to give a moral compass to students. Well, the underlying truth is that leading prayers in public schools is not a neutral act with regard to organized religion, as the Constitution requires. In the First Amendment to the United States Constitution, we are given freedom of religion, as well as a separation of church and state. This means that since schools are government facilities, they are not allowed to enforce the practice of religion. Now, religion should be taught in public schools. Religion needs to be taught because of its historical and cultural impact. Next, religion needs to be taught because it will stop unfair biases and generalizations. Finally, religion needs to avoid being preached so it remains constitutional. The unbiased teaching of world religions in public schools should be a very important part of the learning process. It would help children be more accepting of others and their differences. As a whole, this will lead to a generally better civilization of equality and kindness. Thank you.
Exploitation speech. Just Googling the search term beauty pageants coming up, over 1 million results will appear in 0.34 seconds. But what they don't tell you is that 18% of women that enter beauty pageants develop body image issues. That doesn't seem like much, but 120 participants minimum. Each pageant is hundreds of thousands of women with body image problems from beauty pageants. Beauty pageants are meant to make women feel good about themselves. However, pageants make average girls overcritical of themselves. Not everyone is 5'6" and 120 pounds. Some girls are athletic and weigh more because they are more muscular, but they are still healthy. Some girls are happier reading or painting than putting on makeup. It doesn't make them any less worthy of a scholarship from a pageant. Pageants don't put emphasis on the important qualities girls have. They are focused on looks. Beauty pageants do exploit women. Beauty pageants pressure women to be society's definition of perfect. They make women insecure and want to physically change themselves. The pageants themselves are expensive, and all the upkeep take up much time and money. First, beauty pageants emphasize the imperfections of women. Beauty pageants and other things that judge women on how closely they get to the goal of perfection are directly linked to unhappiness. Beauty pageants give women around the world a false sense of what is considered beautiful. All beauty pageants are based on what women decide to wear and how they look, regardless of their personalities or talents. If one of the women in the beauty pageants don't wear the right thing or have abnormalities, they are marked off points for not being the ideal vision of perfect. Beauty pageants exploit women because they are focused on their imperfections. Next, beauty pageants make women insecure and want to physically change themselves. An ex-pageanteer said, "Beauty pageants left me with stress, anxiety, and the feeling that I needed to be perfect all the time." Striving for perfection at any age makes people, more commonly women, self-conscious of their bodies. When some people get really self-conscious, they get plastic surgery and try to change themselves to be perfect. Women try to change themselves to fit into the beauty pageant's criteria. Also, the upkeep and expenses for the pageants are very costly. Some may argue that winning a pageant gives them their money back and is worth their time. However, if they win the pageants, they get most or part of their money back. But if they lose, they wasted all the money and wouldn't feel good about themselves. A dress for a Miss USA pageant in 2014 costed around $10,000 for one dress. The dress is not the only thing that is expensive. The $10,000 dress, along with $200 worth of hair extensions or wigs, someone to do your hair and makeup costs about $250 an hour. A good spray tan is $75. A modeling coach and choreographer is around $100 an hour, and then there is an entry fee of $500. In the end, just to be in the competition, you're going to spend about $11,000, and you still may not win. Even though beauty pageants, while being in them, you may feel pretty, but if and when you lose thousands of dollars along with your self-esteem. Beauty pageants exploit women because they emphasize women's imperfections. They make women insecure and want to physically change themselves, and the upkeep and expenses for beauty pageants are costly. Beauty pageants judge women participating in the contest on how much they fit into society's version of perfection, marking them off for their imperfections they were born with. When women don't win, they tend to think they aren't good enough and start changing themselves physically. Women spend thousands of dollars to get ready for the pageants, not knowing if they're going to even place. Just think about if there was a test to get in a pageant instead of being let in because you're pretty. How many contestants would there really be?
The Williams Institute at UCLA Law School estimated the positive economic impact of legalizing same-sex marriage in New Jersey to be $248 million over 3 years, creating 800 new jobs and bringing in an additional $19 million in government revenues. Same-sex marriage was only legal in 19 states, and some examples of these states are Washington, D.C., California, and Connecticut. As of October 6, 2014, same-sex marriage is legal in 24 states. Massachusetts was the first state to legalize same-sex marriage in 2004. By 2008, the divorce rate increased by 21%. Several states in America still have bans on same-sex marriage. On September 3, 2014, federal judge Martin L.C. Feldman upheld Louisiana's ban on same-sex marriage, breaking a streak of 21 court decisions overturning bans since 2013. 16 countries allow same-sex marriage, including parts of Mexico. These countries are mostly in Europe and South America. Same-sex marriage should be legal across the United States because in the Constitution you have natural rights granted to you. Marriage should be allowed when you love someone and you deserve to be happy. First, same-sex marriage should be legal because you have natural rights granted to you in the Constitution of the United States. And John Locke theorized that natural rights come from nature or God. Your natural rights make it so that you can live free in this country. And we are taking them their right, taking same-sex couples' rights away by not letting them marry. These natural rights are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Also, your natural rights cannot be justly taken away without any consent. Therefore, same-sex marriage should be legal. Second, marriage should not be about marrying a woman, but should be if you love someone. We let murderers, rapists, etc. get married, but we won't let people who love each other. If we let rapists and murderers get married, why can't people that actually love each other? Everyone should have the right to marry. The most degenerate of people have the right to marry, but not certain people who really love each other. This is why same-sex marriage should be legal. Finally, before we approach the issue of love, we must first define it. We see that it isn't evident as a singular word, but plural in both content and meaning. The only factor that should matter in marriage is love. We've always granted marriage license to sterile people too old to have kids, and irresponsible people, but not people who care for each other and die for each other. You might say it is morally wrong, but since when can we kill people in video games, make movies about killing, and movies with not so child-friendly pictures, but can't let people that love each other get married? People marry just to stay in this country, but there are people that actually love each other that can't marry. Same-sex marriage should be legal for the reasons being that all people are granted the inalienable rights to happiness. Same-sex marriage should be legal because you have the natural rights granted to you that cannot be taken away without any consent. Also because marriage should be if you love someone, not if they're a man or a woman. Finally, because the only factor that matters in marriage is love. Do you think same-sex marriage should be legal? That's it.